Saltwater crocodiles are one of the most feared animals on our planet. Not only are they the largest living reptiles in the world, but they're undoubtedly one of our planet's most formidable apex predators, and are also responsible for approximately 1,000 human fatalities per year. The following video will depict one of these unfortunate incidents. Tragically, the life of 22-year-old Brett Mann came to a gruesome end when a massive saltwater crocodile would fatally attack him in front of his closest friends on what was supposed to be a fun-filled outing. His true story would be one of recorded history's most horrifying crocodile attacks. Litchfield National Park in the Northern Territory of Australia is a true national gem. Boasting a stunning variety of flora and fauna, this region has over time become one of the most sought-after tourist destinations in the area. Featuring eucalyptus trees, pandanus palms, mangroves, and towering termite mounds, Litchfield provides a breathtaking backdrop for adventurers and nature lovers alike. Not to mention, thrill seekers are in for a treat here, as the region offers a myriad of adventure sports to choose from, including quad biking, hiking, and swimming, just to name a few. The landscape is also home to a diverse range of wildlife, from herbivores, such as kangaroos and wallabies, to predators, such as dingoes, and of course the mighty saltwater crocodile. Saltwater crocodiles are often referred to in Australia as salties. They are one of the most formidable predators on Earth, with a history dating back to the Cretaceous period around 200 million years ago. As mentioned at the beginning of this video, the spectacular creatures also possess a bite force that measures a whopping 3,700 pounds per square inch, a power unmatched in the animal kingdom. With such immense force in their bites, a healthy, fully grown salty is capable of biting through almost anything that it wants, including bone, thick tree trunks, and even metal. They're often observed crushing the shells of large turtles in the wild, and literally breaking the bones of their prey when they bite down on a limb, which they, of course, rip off since they can't chew by performing their infamous death roll. This allows them to devour large prey, such as water buffaloes, with reasonable ease, and they do it piece by piece. These reptiles are furthermore known for their stalking behavior, patiently waiting underwater for the ideal moment to strike. They possess remarkable stealth and can remain submerged in water for up to 2 hours, making them a significant threat to anyone who unknowingly ventures into their territory. This is why it's often advised that one should remain vigilant when venturing on the edges of riverbanks or even beaches, as you never know when a stalking salty may be lurking just beneath the surface, waiting for the opportune moment to strike. Brett Mann, along with his two 19-year-old friends Sean Blowers and Ashley McLeod, departed from their homes on December 21, 2003 at 11:40 a.m. After an hour-long drive, they would reach their preferred destination, a quad bike racing spot on the border of Litchfield National Park. The trio would often frequent this location and would always pass through a patch of familiar landscape consisting of eucalyptus trees, punionus palms, mangrove trees, and massive termite mounds before arriving at the flat salt plains, an ideal area for quad biking. Sean, one of Brett's close friends, claimed that he knew the area well since he'd been camping there with his family since the age of 5. The group would then gear up and hit the muddy tracks with their quads. They would then spend the day joyfully spraying mud on each other while racing around on their quads. And by all accounts, they were having one of the best days they'd ever had at Kangaroo Flats. At approximately 4:30 p.m., the group would go to the nearby Fitness River and park their bikes near the bank. They would then begin cleaning their sand and mud-covered clothes and boots in the unusually high waters of the river. Unaware of the river's flood and the incoming strong tide and rapidly rising water levels, the group would wade into the water and begin washing off. Just a few moments later, Brett would suddenly lose his footing as he was bathing, causing him to fall and be swept away by the abnormally powerful current. A stunned Sean and Ashley would then, without hesitation, attempt to swim after him, which of course caused them as well to be trapped in the current's grip, making it difficult for them to catch up with Brett, who, at this point, had vanished from their line of sight. Suddenly, Ashley's eyes would catch the giant head of a saltwater croc emerge from the river's surface just a few meters away from Sean. He then shouts, "Croc! Croc! I'm not kidding! There's a croc! Head for a tree! Get out of the water!" After which, Sean, who was just a few meters away from him, would direct his momentum towards an upcoming tree, which he would climb up. A few moments later, Ashley would also manage to direct himself towards the same tree, where he and Sean would then perch themselves onto as he desperately began calling out for Brett, who was nowhere to be seen. The silence was undoubtedly deafening for the pair, and it quickly became evident that something had gone terribly wrong. This is when, just a few moments later, like a scene straight out of a horror movie, a massive, over 3-meter-long saltwater crocodile erupts from the murky depths of the water, and tightly gripped between its jaws was Brett's lifeless body. A frozen Sean and Ashley could do nothing but watch at this point as the master's CROC would then disappear into the depths of the river, never to be seen again. The traumatized teenagers would then spend the night perched up on this tree, keeping each other awake, shivering and terrified of the CROC who had been lurking just below, watching them, occasionally surfacing and resurfacing. They would spend the entire night on this tree, barely sleeping and holding on to each other for warmth. As the sun eventually rose the following day, search parties would begin looking for the trio. Sean and Ashley, who were dehydrated, traumatized, and shaking in their boots from what they had just experienced, would then hear the shouts of their friends and family from a distance, which is when they both instantly shout back a reply of their own. "Stay out of the water, there's a CROC lurking and he's watching us." A task force was thereby created to hunt the crocodile and find Brett's remains. However, as days passed, and despite intense search efforts, the search parties would inevitably fall short of finding the crocodile or the young man's body, leading them to conclude that he was likely entirely consumed by the giant reptile. As more days passed, the flooded river continued to rise, and litter debris, which had surfaced, would make search efforts even more challenging. It wasn't until about 1 week after the attack that a Parks and Wildlife Service ranger would locate a 3.8-meter crocodile not far from where Brett had been taken, and the ranger would shoot this crocodile, causing it to sink to the bottom of the river. But strangely enough, despite this successful quote-unquote kill, the croc's body never surfaced, nor were efforts made for its body to be recovered, leaving a necropsy out of question to determine if this croc was indeed the one who'd taken Brett. Crocodile attacks are common in the Northern Territory, where populations are high, and tourists worldwide often flock to witness them in their natural habitat. In fact, one of the most popular tourist attractions in Australia is the Jumping Crocodile Cruise, which entices crocodiles to leap out of the water by dangling pieces of meat off a boat. And despite the inherent risks of such activities, which inevitably cause these apex predators to associate food with humans, visitors to this day continue to not just tour these areas, but partake in these dangerous activities. Brett Mann's tragic passing had a profound influence on the community of Darwin, where the trio was from, with Ashley still grappling till this very day with the trauma of the ordeal. And Sean, who works for his family's business, is still so traumatized by the attack that he continues to this very day to advise customers to remove any inflatable crocodile toys from their pools before he arrives to clean them. Brett's parents have since divorced and moved away from Darwin, but every year his family, along with Ashley, Sean, and a few more friends, religiously gather at the site where he passed away to pay tribute to him by sharing fond memories. This story, told this very day, serves as a stark reminder of the risks that come into venturing into the wilderness, and most notably, the importance of taking the right precautions when doing so.